Alright, this is it. I'm not tapping out, but I got to my end goal. So I'm not gonna do much more. I think I'm gonna stop right here. Just gonna load up a save really quickly. I can go back a little further. We'll go about right here. This is the intro scene, which works fine by the way. Besides other anomalies like hair color and shit being a little twisted and mangled because of speed. Speed has a tendency of changing people's hair color, specifically for the intro when you at the very start. So what I do is I typically just save and load it up. So this is what my build looks like here. It's a lot going on. There's like height adjustments, accessory add-ons, shell texturing added where necessary, physics to all hair, literally all hair. This is really a treat here, considering you're not really gonna see this anywhere else. Considering the modification for this that replaces all of the hairs with SMP, it's not done yet. So I had to manually do it myself. You'll notice there's capes on certain characters. There aren't on others. Um, I just went through the speed file and tweaked it to the best of my ability. By no shakes am I adept with it yet. I'm still working on it, but I'm pretty close to what I want it to be. See all my textures and meshes here. No two are really alike. Everybody's pretty much different. I go through the bases. Gonians are pretty tall. Kept it lore friendly, though I want them to be short. There's the Bretons. Bretons are slightly shorter, bigger head. They're supposed to be, you know, not physically adept. Uh, let's move down here. Forget my elves are organized a certain way. So dark. I know this is base. There's my dark elf. They're pretty tiny, very short. There's my high elf. My high elves are very tall. They're the tallest race out of all the races, of course. Sticking with the lore. There's my wood elf. Wood elves are tiny too. Peep the freckles. uh, my Imperials. Imperials are pretty much average height. Pay close attention to their skeletons too. You can tell the difference in the skeletons by the size of the character's head. Also went through the ESM and pretty much modified the weights for all of the races too to make sense. Like for instance, the Nords they're pretty heavy, so their weight's pretty much maxed out. Same applies to orcs, but you'll immediately notice orcs have a different body mesh all around. They have the max weight too, but they're massive in comparison to everyone else. Also the skeleton too. Shocked that people haven't really taken advantage of the all these you know special skeleton modifications out there. There's so many different versions of them too that you can pick from. There's my red guards. They're pretty much average height, but they're pretty thin. They're the athletes too. They have certain skin for their race. As you can see down here, here's my favorite. I'm biased in this regard, but here's my favorite races. I marked with X, which are like berserk races and stuff. I love berserk, and all of my berserk races, which I've covered already. I'm not gonna go through every one, but my berserk races, as you can see here, they're custom made. Guts looks hyper realistic. You'll notice his body skin. Hell, you even notice the skin on his face has been modified, slightly stretched out his scar, realistic skin, normal map replacement, hyper realistic eyes, lips, eyebrows. Everything is just completely overhauled. Not only so that it can fit with everything else, but because it looks good to have these high res crazy textures. And then really quickly, another thing I added in here that I just simply unlocked in the ESM is where is it? Servant, which is I didn't do the description, which is Serpico from Berserk. I just unlocked it. It's fully functional. Uh so that's it for the races here. I'm gonna for my starting race, I think I'm gonna start with a Nord. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a base Nord here. This is just like showcasing the little tweaks I made. You'll immediately notice too, I got rid of that rough spin or rough spun tunic. I didn't like that tunic. That's a terrible starting gear. And I just put him on the base gear. This is actually the gear he wears in the intro cinematic For those of you who are aware of the intro cutscene, from Bethesda that you can mod in the beginning of the game, or really for the advertisement. This is what he wears. So this is what I put on him, and it just makes sense because you run into his helmet later. So the only modifications that I really touched or added in here was pretty much anything that upscaled or updated meshes. So all of my meshes have been replaced with high poly variations, variations that have SMP, variations that have CPPC, whatever the other physics is that other physics engine is in here too, to some extent. And as you can see, I added capes to pretty much everyone. Capes just make sense. It's cold, so cloaks, capes, etc. There's a good look at the height modifications too. You'll immediately notice Ulfric on the far left of the screen there. He's very tall. He's big. He's a Nord. The Nords are supposed to be huge. They're on average like think Swedish people. They're supposed to be like 6'1" and up in height. So yeah, naturally he's massive. And then he's the king of the Nords, so he should be huge. The SMP capes here, it adds so much. This looks so much better. It still looks vanilla, but it looks better than the vanilla by a long shot. Bandages, certain NPCs are gonna have bandages. It's randomized too, which is pretty awesome. Notice the textures, the door placement back there. See the fires on the sconces, both are lit. That's very important. Most people miss that. It's freaking birds in the sky. Can you see them? There's birds in the sky. The clouds are no longer a texture that slides across the sky. They're actually volumetric 3D clouds. So there's physically clouds in the sky. It actually feels like you're outside now, which is this is important. This is the most important part of this because it's an open world and you have to feel like you're in a world, right? So I went and replaced all the trees. It There's a mod that adds hundreds of new tree models. I had to add that in here because the base game recycles the same tree over and over, and it looks pretty janky and bad. So just an update, Still super lore friendly. It doesn't kill, what's here in its base. It still feels like you're playing the vanilla game, which is what I was aiming for. When we get close to the headsman here, he's gonna look at the headsman in a second. Look at his armor. Look at the fur. That's a fusa fusa or a shell textured fur, which is on every character. Yes, I went through body slide and I body slid every set of armor for every race. Yes, I did for females and for my males too. The ones who have the bodybuilder type meshes. And this is the end result. It looks insane. It looks more real. For Alduin, I didn't touch Alduin's skeleton. I know there's modifications to make his wings bigger, but he just doesn't look right on that tower with giant wings. So I didn't touch that. The only thing I did to Alduin to update him was I made him 8K because he's massive. Massive things, they require 8K textures because you can screen arch massive things up close. Look how amazing that looks. I forget what this is called. It's like a dual sheath, so you can carry like two things at once. He's got the SMP hair, which looks insane. This updates it like crazy. His cloak, he has a cool cloak. This is a very immersive, lore-friendly, unobtrusive texture overhaul for the Stormcloak armor. There, looks so good, makes so much sense. And then look at Ulfric, he looks cool as hell too. He's got the SMP hair. He has the new beard mod that makes him look crazy cool. Even though the added color for the accessories, because characters are accessorized at random. Just like there's a lot going on here. His armor has been completely replaced with an SMP replacement there. You can see the physics are just everywhere on him. Um, Places that should be metal, they're metal now. I went back and retextured them, and this is the end result. Just incredible. Little things like Ragnarok replaced the rug texture, something hyper detailed, so it looks like an actual rug. Smoke from torches, only the torches, because smoke doesn't come from candles, people. Alright, let's run up here. Just trying to cover things as I come across them. It's 1,000. I got 1,000 mods in here. and I somehow managed to get it in here safely. Crap. I can't remember if this. Okay. So I turned that off. I had a mod called Fire Hurts that was in the game, so that fire hurts you when you step on it after it's been shot, and I took it out because I kept dying in the intro. It takes a little too much damage. Look how amazing he looks. He's his sword's been delarped. I think it's believable weapons. He's got the physics hair too. Um, his own custom body mesh, his own skeleton. You can see the pouch accessories there. His accessories galore on all of the characters. He's got his own freaking cape, which I think he always needed. This armor in general, this Roman type armor, it doesn't look right without a cape. So I don't know. That always bothered me. There's my old man there. He's got his own DAR animations that makes him look old. His body, I went through the Skyrim, the ESM, and I changed his body weight to 0 so that he looks skinny. Look at the kid. No more Cabbage Patch Kids. The kids in by default used to look like Chucky dolls. I hated that with a passion. Like every kid looked the same, and they look like Chucky. It was pretty horrifying, needless to say. Any texture that I could upscale safely, I went ahead and upscaled, and I also added in parallaxing. Parallaxing is very important too because it gives the illusion of, you know, 3D protrusion via texturing. Parallaxing is just a fancy word for more than one layer. Okay, just covering things as I go. See the crazy fire effects. There's a lot of EMB based stuff in here. I'm not a big fan of EMB lights though. There's the unique weapons. I think it's something artifacts. It just gives all the whoa. Oh no! It gives all of the important NPCs. Oh, that might kill me. It gives all the important NPCs their own weapons, which you saw in Ulfric. Ulfric has his own axe, and then of course Tullius there. This looks so much cooler than the default game. It's not even funny. Oh, by the way, I have an ENB in here too. The ENB just adds in ambient occlusion, anisotropic filtering, just little things to modernize the graphics slightly. Looks incredible. ENB is super important too, because let's be honest here, the base game is pretty dated, lighting and effect wise. It's extremely dated. Go to my mod menu here. Just looks like confirmation that there's 1,000 mods here. Or any confusion. Pretty sure my character just got stuck at the intro. I apologize. My memory's very low. I've been running this over and over back to back all day. So I have to unstuck the character here because the memory is short. There's a lot going on. There's like a lot of new stuff too that's just added into the environment at random. Like if you've played this game before, it's not going to be the same experience with my build specifically. I bumped into him by mistake. I think he just untied me. God, it looks awesome, man. Everything, the lighting, the physics. Okay, let's I don't want his gear. Okay, so here's what my dude looks like. So what's in this chest over here? Okay, if you want to be like a mage character, there's starter gear in here. It's just like a robe. In the satchel here, it's a few potions. In the barrel, it's armor. If you want to wear the basically the starting game armor, you can go in this barrel here. There you go. Everything's there, which I'm fine about because I'll get my helmet later, so I don't really need anything from these. It's just in case, I just want to start with certain gear. This gear is fine actually. This is the actual cinematic gear that he wears. So I'm gonna take this guy's axe. You'll notice I spitted sensible armor onto all of the NPCs in here. So, like I said, the playthrough is totally different in a sensible way. Like his dead buddy there, he's got on some skull stuff. There's a little modification here so that you can pretty much break all of the furniture. Had to do a little bit of tweaking to make it play well with everything else. Included to that breakable furniture or breakable objects. You can break things like wood, tables, etc. And then I added on top of that a modification so that you can break eggs. And then there's a modification on top of that so that you can break bottles. It's pretty nuts. You can pretty much destroy everything in the stages. Slightly feels like Dark Souls. Whoa, crap. Of course, I have flinch in here. Flinch is a revolutionary new modification that makes characters jerk when you hit them with a weapon. It just skyrockets the combat through the roof. It feels like you're actually bludgeoning people now, which is pretty crazy. I might take her cape. I thought about taking her cape. I'm gonna take these weapons though. That seriously crossed my mind. That'd be kind of awesome to have a cape. He's all twisted and mangled up. Yeah, I don't want an Imperial cape though, because it has a logo on it. I take the pouches though. Pretty much meshes and texture placements. My focus here when I modded this in general was bug fixing. That's the first thing I did. I found hundreds of bug fixing mods, and then I went from there and I replaced all the meshes that freak me out and textures too that freak me out up close. I'm big on screen arching. Check this out. It's a combination of DAR and animated. What is it? Animated objects. I think it's called. See the bag open. Not sure if you saw it the first time. Not sure if it moved the first time. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's so immersive now. I want to grab these. Another. Let's get it on the center. Okay, another thing that's pretty revolutionary in here too, that I'm pretty sure everyone uses. That I had to get. I'm gonna eat both of these. Is that it's animated eating and sound. Pretty sure everyone has that. Must have for any build. Another example. Oop, another example of breakable objects there. See that smoking torch? Again, torches smoke, not candles. For the love of God. It's always made me mad. That freaks me out. Something about seeing a candle smoke just makes me, it angers me. And then here's, can't remember the name of the mesh. It's not Smim. I think it's Rudy. Here's the Rudy candle mesh. It's just hyper detailed. I know people hate the base game candle. I hate the base game candle. I'm gonna let them go in there. Go on, Ulfric. Ulfric's so OP, by the way. Oh, the mod that makes him a follower here is called Opening Scene Overhaul. Just adds Ulfric as a follower in the beginning, and it changes a lot of the dialogue. Think of it as like cutting room floor, but for the intro. Pelts. I'm get really close here. As you can see there, the pelts have fusa or shell texturing on them, so they look like they are real fur, which is super cool. Yeah, somehow I made it. I got to 1K mods, and I did it in a manner. My goal with my 1K mods was I wanted to mod the game fully. I wanted 1K, right? But I didn't want to change vanilla. I wanted it to still look vanilla. This still looks vanilla. It's just upscaled. It just has better textures. Some of the models are superior, but it still looks and feels vanilla as you play through it. Like nothing's really unfamiliar. I'm not sure if I need any of this. I probably don't. Another example there. There's eggs in here. You can break those eggs. I can just swing at them with a weapon, and they'll pretty much shatter. Okay. Sorry, I don't see the point. Looks like I'm holding my arm here. There's a mod called Wounds, which basically gives me injuries from when I fight. I'm shocked that the dragon didn't wound me. Let's fix this cut. Left arm. You need a fire spell for this. See how he's standing like he's injured? I just healed or cauterized my arm, and it should. There you go. See? And now his posture's corrected. That's pretty crazy. That's DAR at work. DAR is dynamic animation replacement. It's probably one of the best, most revolutionary things in this, and it was made by Everglade. Just insane. Any mesh that I hated. Here's another example. These cages. These cages look awful in the vanilla game. I just pretty much replaced them out with something that looks better. That's pretty much the gist of it. Just walking around from place to place, replacing things as I walk through. All right, let's run down here. Speaking of DAR, I went ahead and individually placed a set of animations for every race. So no race is the same. They're all different. Doing a Nord right now, he's pretty bulky, so he has a certain, he has a heavy movement to him. So I'm gonna run down here. I'm trying to think of things. SMIM, of course I use SMIM. SMIM is like the base of everything, pretty much. SMIM is a good mod. It covers like all of the meshes. I highly recommend that as the a starter for your mesh replacements. I'm not going in there because they're gonna. There we go. I'm armed with an axe. Yeah, I'll let them do the work. Pretty much is Ulfric. Ulfric is so strong. Where's Rayloff? Shouldn't Rayloff be here? Huh. Or did he run by? I think Rayloff ran by. Yeah, I'm not fighting these dudes alone. Combat in this is very dangerous because when you get hit, you get injured. And you don't want to get injured because it takes time. You have to like sleep and heal and bandage and cauterize and splint. Like you have to do so many. Oh crap! You have to do a lot of stuff to heal your character. Admittedly, the best combat or deterrent from getting yourself injured is wearing armor. Just wear a lot of heavy armor and you'll be fine. You won't get injured as much. It's hard to like break your bones and make you bleed when you're wearing dense armor. I just don't have that for demonstration's sakes or demonstration's sake because I'm en route to showing you what the really the gear that I want. There's a certain gear I want to put on here just to showcase. Pretty sure I took that bow, didn't I? Yeah, I took his bow. Bow, of course, the bows have been replaced. All their weapons have been replaced. They've been delarped, and then the bows too. I put it's like I think it's real bows. I think it's called real bows. I have realistic bows. It's only applicable to certain bows, like wooden bows, though, only because to be honest, I kind of like the style or the aesthetic of the base games. Weapons. So for the bows that I didn't want to completely change into like normal bland looking bows, I found another replacement. I think it's called believable bows, but it just is very similar to the vanilla games meshes, but it slightly modifies them to make sense so they don't look too insane. Really good replacements though. Pretty much all of the texturing here has been replaced with something upscaled. If it's not parallax, it's upscaled only because it assaults my eyes to look at certain things. These I could probably fight alone. Let's see. I don't think you guys understand. I'm definitely afraid of getting hurt here. Cause it's so much hassle to get healed up. Okay, this is gonna be weird. This is gonna be weird. Come on, there we go. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the mod, but there's a mod so that giant creatures just send you flying. Bears, giant spiders, giants, mammoth, they all just send you flying into oblivion, like kind of like what I just did. I take that back, except for the giants. In the base game or the default game, if a giant hits you, you go flying into the atmosphere. That's been modded out. I actually took that out of my build, and I made it so that they just knock you back, like the spider just did me. And yes, it works on NPCs too, so NPCs are in danger when fighting those creatures. So now you guys see why I was terrified. Finally. Okay, so now I have my armor build here. All I wanted was my helmet. Boom. There we go. Now you got the intro hero. Looks just like him. Actually, I think in the intro he had a sword, didn't he? There we go. Intro character. This is just it's more immersive, more lore friendly, it's more accurate to how the base game wanted it to be. It's just everything just lines up. I got bears on the north. I'm not getting close enough. Again, giant animals send you flying. I'm not fighting a bear. That bear's gonna break every bone in my character. This just looks insane. Like the lighting mods, my texture overhauls, the meshes. This doesn't even look like the same. Well, it looks like the same game. That was the point. But you get what I'm saying. It doesn't look like it's in the same generation. So I kind of want to end it here because I've been running the game all day. If the game's not, I know I don't have enough memory to just go outside. So I think it'd be smart to end it here. But I do kind of want to showcase a little more. Uh, this is a toughie. Okay, I'm gonna run over here. I'm gonna see if I could just run outside. Gotta remember, it's gonna load the world space all at once. I have 1,000 mods, and I've also been running this. This isn't a fresh run for the game. I've been running this all day. My memory's shot, so I'm a little scared here. I probably should just part two this video too. It's almost 30 minutes of video. I think that'd be smarter. Yeah, I should part two it.